So let me ask you this then, because I like to ask everybody this at some point, and it's kind of just related to their media diet. So what is kind of, I mean, first of all, what are some of the routes Project Censored takes when they research stories, and what is kind of your personal media diet? Where are some places you like to go?
Well, on a daily basis, I look at everything, from Fox and NBC and CNN to PBS, NPR, of course, some of the major daily newspapers, these types of things, but also, too many different blogs and independent news sources to even really mention, including right libertarian sites, left progressive sites. And what we do is we have students go out and research these independent news stories, and they find a news story that they think is particularly important, and then we use either ProQuest or LexisNexis, library databases to find out where else is the story covered, has it gotten widespread exposure. So this kind of gets into our definition of censorship, which is anything that interferes with the free flow of information in a society that purports to have free press principles. So censorship isn't just the story that's never published, right? That's more a traditional definition. But censorship is the subtle, yet ever-present manipulation of stories or slighting of content of stories. So even if you have, say, like the New York Times cover a particular story, that doesn't mean they cover all facets of the story, right? And so there's a part of the narrative that's missing. And what we train students to do is not just look to see where the stories are covered, but also to look to see how they're covered. So if they do get coverage in say, a bigger corporate media outlet, particularly television, right? I mean, that's millions of potential viewers. Then we ask them to say, well, how is the content of the story? So we also do content analysis. We do factual vetting. Students take stories to professors who are experts in the field to look at them to see if they're accurate, right? And then we call them validated independent news stories. We put them on our website, projectcensored.org, and we have a team of judges and professors and media scholars and so on every year that go back and revet the stories, look at the stories, and then rank the stories in a top 25 list, so to speak. I'm not the biggest fan of the tiered ranking per se, because I think any of the stories that are being missed are that's problematic. And they're not just negative stories, right? They're not just they're not just the what's behind the NSA spying story, right? Or they're also good news stories, like about the victories for the commons in Iceland per se in this year's book. So again, our media diet, so to speak, is pretty broad, pretty vast, and like I said, we do this year round. We finish. We nominate stories from April to April each year in an academic cycle, and then we basically have 3 months to finish up the book, send it into 7 Stories Press, and then it comes out that fall for course adoptions.